Hi everyone, it's Mark here again. I'm the founder of the Arts and Culture Network. We're a growing global community of over 160,000 now, I think, across our 8 LinkedIn groups. And I don't get to meet everyone, as you can imagine, but when I do, it's a delight, which is the case today. Carmela Ruggiero has joined me for a quick interview so that I can introduce her to you. And we're going to have some fun because I'm going to create Carmela's fantasy cultural year from the answers to some easy questions to which there are no wrong answers. So that's what we're going to do today. And it always pulls out anecdotes and surprises. So that's the one. Carmela, thank you so much for joining me today and for being one of our full members. It's very much appreciated because we're entirely member funded as a community. So thank you so much. Let's start by asking you where you're based.
I'm based in Southeast London, UK.
Know it well, know it well. I'm not too far away. I'm in Essex, so we're just out of London on the River Crouch here. Um, and I wonder if you'd be kind enough to just say hi to everybody. Tell us about the work you're doing in your as a spiritual artist. I'm particularly interested in that, and perhaps tell us what you consider your superpower to be, and where your passions lie in the arts and culture sector.
Okay. So I'm a spiritual artist, and the work I do is through intuition, and I do it's just spontaneous intuition, uh, connecting with the energies around me, energy within me, energy in consciousness. Whatever is energy, I suppose I just connect to it, and then it comes into a form of drawing and coloring, and then it evolves into a piece of art. That basically what the simplest description of what I do. And yeah, it's one of those things. It just happened naturally. It's something I always like wanted to be an artist, but then I went through a corporate career, and then it just happened again to it's like Pandora box. It opened up another field for me, which was the field of feeling things and putting them into onto paper.
That's a
So
lot.
that was basically, yeah, what happened.
That's lovely. That's great. And where can we find examples of your work?
On my website at www.ruggierostudios with the s.com.
Okay. I'm going to show everybody, if you don't mind.
Okay. We
Um,
is the construction is in progress, but there's few works there, but it's
okay.
not exactly complete. Yes.
Okay. So if we go to your portfolio, there we go.
There is only few examples, yes.
No, but it's
So
nice to be able to show people examples of the work. So that
yeah,
started as a line drawing, did it?
yes, they all it's like the flyaway. That's the same sort of things. The
Mm,
flyaway, the top, which looks like a butterfly, is also a single line. It just comes as a single line, and then I sort of sort of feel drawn to color it in. So although that's black and white, it's with black gel pen.
hmm.
The other one would be into a color pen, and it still starts with one line, and then I color in, but it's always one line, very
And
quick.
and the intuition is is what governs the line, is it?
Yes, yes, it's
Yeah.
a feeling, it's a sort of urge that your hands are moving, it's like a connection with something invisible. So it's sort
Mm.
of energetic, from the aura, the auric field, or whatever I'm feeling. And then it's like, oh, my hands itch. I need to get my pastels. It's very much, and this is a progression into more spots. It's more of a thought, in a sense of thinking of some things. In business, sometimes we need to think about things, and then you just doodle along, and then the actual work comes out. This is very fast. It's one line with two color gel pen. So as you can see, it could be a pink and a blue or red and a blue originally, and then that sort of color it in afterwards.
That's lovely. Thank you for showing us those. So that's at ruggierostudios.com for our guests who'd like to to have a look. Thank you. That's great to see that. And I love that kind of almost a three-stage process. And other artists have similar. So for example, there's a parallel, but it's not necessarily as quite so spiritual or intuitive in that one of our members, she finds beautiful locations. She takes a picture of that location, turning it into a work of art, with the composition and capturing a moment. And then she enhances that using digital tools to create an even more beautiful work of art. So she's got this three-stage going on. You have as well. There's a feeling, a line, and then a work of art. I love it. It's great.
Yes, but also it's a different tools. I use different tools. In the one you've seen is very particular with gel pen. So
Mm,
I've used gel pen, I use graphite, I use soft pastels, oil pastels, and painting. And through, the years, it's been a couple of years now. Through the years, I sort of have changed into what's comfortable for my hands because
mhm,
obviously I suffer of condition which doesn't allow my hands to do too much at the same time. So I found the painting was quite tiring and I couldn't sort of manage it properly. So
mhm,
gel pen is more fluid and I managed to do it because it's quick and fluid. I don't need to put pressure on my wrists as
mm,
and
yeah,
then I experienced soft pastel, which where the deck comes in. The soft pastel is all like a blend with soft pastel is the dust, is all the little bits, and I blend it with my fingers. And that's my
mm,
latest sort of series that's coming out soon. Yeah, on the
that's
market
great.
as
I
well.
look forward. I look forward to seeing
Yeah,
those.
yeah.
Excellent. Now we're going to have fun now. I'm going to create your fantasy cultural year.
Okay.
In order to do that, I need to
Mm.
place you somewhere in the world. And I have a magic wand and a time machine at my disposal. Okay. I'm going to place you somewhere in the world by asking you, what's your favorite building?
Wow. I'm in UK, and to be honest, I manifested UK to leave. It was my dream. London was my dream town and UK was my dream country. The building I was always attracted since I was young and studied English in Italy at the time, it was Big Ben. It has to be that.
Okay.
Can't
I think
deny it.
most
It's my
people,
love. It's
yeah,
my
most
love.
most people will know what that looks like, but just in
Yeah.
case, I'm going to share my screen and show. Um, there we go.
It's my first love. My
You
first
know,
love. Yeah.
and not many people know this, but Big Ben is the bell, not the tower.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the Big Ben bell is so that's actually Big Ben. But an awful lot of people believe that it's the tower. I'm not sure what the tower's called, but yeah, it's wonderful, and it's such an iconic um, symbol of London. So excellent. Okay, so I'd like you to imagine you're sitting in Parliament Square next to within sight of Big Ben, and there's a pop-up cafe there. Okay, next to the statue of Winston Churchill, and um, and it's sunny. It's 6 p.m. on a June evening, and there is a drink by your side. What drink would we find there, Carmela?
For me, it has to be Campari and Campari and tonic. That's my
Campari
drink.
and tonic. Love it. It had
Yeah.
to be, didn't it?
Had to be because I'm how do you say not cocktail girl, but aperitif girl. I
Yeah,
love aperitifs.
yeah.
That's my best part before I start my dinner. Yeah.
Okay. And so on the table next to you is a book. It could be a favorite book, a book that's been with you all your life or changed your life even, or a recent discovery. What book would we find sitting there?
I think I will um take with me a book which I was given the name and then I put it on a shelf for a long, long time and then it's almost like it dropped from the shelf and pushed me to be read, like when and it's Who We Might Be,
Who
it's
we might
called.
be.
Yeah, it's from an Italian American writer of psychoanalysis and it's very connecting to the way we explore ourselves. So it's pretty much psychoanalysis. And I thought it was so complex when I first bought it. And then 10 years later, it dropped off a shelf. and I had it. And since then, it's so consumed, it's so used, it's so old, everything is falling off. And I was thinking, oh my God, I don't want to throw away. I need it. I need it. Every page is so consumed. And
Yeah.
I always go there. I find something new. It's
So I
like,
think that's called Who You Might Be by Lee N. Gallagher. With that, is that the right one?
I'm not sure. I don't have it here, but
Okay.
I was got
A
a
blin
blue,
a yeah, a brilliant splintery coming of age novel that perfectly captures the nervous thrum of adolescence and unnerving fragility of adulthood. Does that sound right? Or
I'm not sure because
no?
it's more of analysis, analyzing yourself, discovering yourself through meditation, through writing, through drawing, which then end up to be a bit of what I've done in my life without realizing.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Fantastic. Well, that's who we might be. Who you might be or who we might be.
oh, you might be, I believe is, and that's got a blue cover, and is
Right.
an Italian writer. It's got an
Okay.
Italian, yeah,
Well, we'll dig that out. I'll find
yeah,
that. Excellent. Now you're feeling quite pleased with yourself because you've just come from a meeting inside the Houses of Parliament. Okay. And there is a, a team have been put together and they've decided they want to fund research into the concept of intuitive art. Okay. And where it's almost, you know, how some faith healers and in the Bible there is the speaking in tongues, you know, this kind of strange phenomenon where people, you know, it's hardly conscious, you know,
yeah,
it's based on feelings. And you know, if you're angry you're probably going to be spiky, if you're
yes,
feeling calm
yes.
you're going to be, you know. So they'd like you to spend a year studying this as an art form. Okay. There's a big fee in it. You'll get paid a lot of money. You get to travel the world. You get to there'll be a TV show out of it, a book deal. You get to do a TED talk, and after your year of study has been done, you get to do a global university lecture tour. Okay. Does that sound fun?
Yes, that's something I'd like to do actually.
Yeah. Now, all of your admin at home is covered. Friends and family can come and visit you when you're traveling. All I need to know from you is where would you like to start that? What city would you want to start that research into intuitive art?
One of the cities which I'd love to start, it will be Japan.
Okay, right. You're on the plane. Okay, from London. You turned left when you got on the aeroplane because you're traveling
Yes.
first class. The um the steward brings you a Campari and tonic and
Yeah.
a note from the team back in Westminster. They have a challenge for you. They'd like you to limit your musical listening to one very specific genre or type of music for 12 months. So if you had to do that, what sort of music would you focus on?
Has to be either violin or piano, instrumental.
Okay, love that.
Even unknown, it would be even better, not like Mozart and all that, unknown. So I could actually focus on the melodies and and I could do put intention to what I want to achieve. Yeah.
That sounds great. That's a lovely thing to listen to while you're working as well.
Yes. Mm.
Excellent. Okay. So you arrive, where do we go? We're going to Tokyo. So you arrive in Tokyo and a group of young art students welcome you and they whisk you off into this beautiful loft apartment overlooking a cherry orchard and a palace. Okay. And they say, right, settle in, unpack. We're going to come back later and take you to a dance performance and then we're going to take you out to dinner. Now, keep in mind, I have a magic wand and a time machine, and you don't have to remain in the culture of that city. So, if I could put a dance performance in front of you for a couple of hours, it could be any style, any group, any dancers, living or not. What would you like to watch as a dance performance for a couple of hours?
I know it sounds a bit awkward because we are in Japan and Tokyo and all that, but why not having Japanese young girls and boys dancing samba or something a bit more awkward? Yeah, unusual for them to see how they behave. It would be nice. Yeah, to
That
have
would
all
be
those
great.
little, yes, because they're not tall, they're not formed, but they're tiny, isn't it? They're very gracious when they dance.
Yeah, that would
So,
be
yeah,
lovely to see some Japanese samba and salsa.
samba, yes,
So that would
having a
be great.
more of, because I feel they're a culture which they're very intimate. So it would be nice to have something where there is approach, isn't it? Because samba is a bit more touchy, a bit more European, isn't it? Or
Mm.
Latino. So
Yeah,
that would be something unusual to watch. How are they going to behave? That would be
yeah.
my curiosity. Yeah.
I'd love to see them try tango as well. That wouldn't be
Yes,
great.
that's another one. Yes.
Yeah, excellent. Now you're going out to dinner afterwards in Tokyo. There are restaurants with cuisine from all over the world. What national cuisine are you going to choose for dinner?
Obviously, pizza.
I knew it. I knew it. That's fantastic. I remember having the best carbonara ever in Rome. I loved it. It was great.
The only thing that I don't cook at home, so I'd like to eat a good one somewhere else, isn't it?
Yeah, very good. Very good. Well, there is a three-star Michelin restaurant. It's an Italian Tokyo, Italian Japanese fusion restaurant, and they do a very special pizza. So there we go. Excellent. Now we're going to fly somewhere else. Where are we going next? A different city, somewhere else in the world.
And a bit like out of what? But Dubai, why not?
Why not? Now, in the United
What?
Arab Emirates,
Yeah,
it's
why not?
it's sport day, okay, in the UAE. And again, I have a magic wand and a time machine. I can place in front of you any sporting event you like. What would you like to watch, Carmela?
Watch. Oh, that's interesting. I had. Oh, it has to be probably the yeah, the ice skating.
Ice skating.
Yeah, why
Yeah,
not? In a
yeah,
hot place, yeah. Why not having some ice skaters there so we
yeah.
can cool
Well,
down? We
that
can cool
is
down.
that is absolutely performance art, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. Excellent. Now let's buzz again from Dubai. Where are we going next?
Where do we go next? Yeah, I never. I'd love to be in Australia, though. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to Sydney.
Yes.
And in Sydney, there is, in our fantasy world, there is a new digitally enhanced art gallery, and you can put on virtual reality headsets and you can
Yes.
step into the work of a famous artist. It becomes three-dimensional. It becomes 360 degrees. You're in your own little world, walking around inside the painting. Which artist's work would you like to explore in that way?
Me would be Monet.
Monet.
Yeah, it has to be the water lily or Monet. I'd like to be in the water with the lilies. I just had one on the top of my bed for years
Yeah.
until it faded, like because it was a print.
Yes.
Yeah, or there is a girl in a garden, there's a flower gardens. There is so many of Monet, which I'm very attracted. Even Venice, there's a view of Venice of that. Yeah.
There is. I
Either,
think
yeah,
yeah, I'm looking at it, looking at them now. But yeah, Monet's garden with the bridge. You can
yeah.
you can walk over the bridge. That's great. I love that. Now I'm going to whisk you back to London, and we're going out every evening, Monday to Friday. On Monday, we're going to a historic music performance. Tuesday is theatre, Wednesday is a musical, Thursday is opera, and Friday is the movies. And between us, we can choose what we go and see. So my question for Monday would be, is there a musical performance that you attended that you'd love to go back in time and experience again?
Music performance as more classical or
Any musical,
I
live musical
well,
performance?
ABBA all the time.
There we go. ABBA in their
All
heyday.
the time. I've just been to one. That's probably why it comes ABBA all along. Yeah,
Fantastic. Well, we'll go back to the early 70s when they did Waterloo at the Eurovision Song
yeah.
Contest. There we go.
Wow. Yeah.
Great choice. What about a theatre play? We're in London, so we could go to Shakespeare's Globe, Is there a theatre play that you'd love to go to?
Yeah, I'd love to see again the Phantom of the Opera, which I've watched a few times. I mean,
Okay.
twice at the beginning, but I would love to go and see it again to have a different feel now. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, we can do that. You've cleverly combined theatre and musical there.
yeah.
Um, Thursday is opera night. Are you an opera fan, Carmela?
I used to listen to opera with my mum and dad on Sunday afternoon, like a tea for Italians, it's a tea. He used to put always, my dad used to have those 33, the vinyl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to put it on in the old thing and play it. So I had opera all the time. So to pick one, I don't know. I love the London Orchestra as well, like having all that. It has to be.
Mm.
I can't think of a particular one, to be honest.
Or
Which
it
one
might
would it
have
be
to be,
yours?
I
Yeah,
think it would be Puccini, Tosca. I
the
think
Tosca.
Tosca.
Or maybe Nabucco, what it comes out, the Nabucco.
Nabucco. That's
Yeah,
Verdi, isn't it? Verdi?
yeah,
Yeah.
Verdi. Yeah, Giuseppe Verdi.
Verdi's Nabucco is a great
Yeah,
choice. Lovely.
yeah.
And then to finish off, we're going to the movies. What are we going to
Oh,
see?
great. Oh my gosh, my old favorite, Grease. Come on.
Did you know, okay, Grease, the movie, it
Yeah,
has the record for
yeah.
costing the least and making the most.
Yes,
It only cost $6 million to make Grease, but it has grossed more in all of the spin-offs and since then. So the difference between how much it cost and how much it made is incredible. So
yeah.
that's a great
It
choice.
has to be either that or Pretty Woman, isn't it? The iconic classic. You can't go wrong on those. You always watch them all over again. At least I do.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we can do both. We'll do a double header. There we go.
Yeah.
Excellent. Now we're nearly there, and I'm going to send you off to complete this wonderful year of study and enjoy the TV coverage that you get. You're going to become the go-to commentator on intuitive art, and you're the expert that the radio people ring up and the TV people ring up when they want to talk about it. Mainly because you've done your TED talk on intuitive art. And before I go and before you go, I'm going to give you what I call the hero lunch. So you can, I'm going to get an Italian, a top piece pizza restaurant in London, and you can invite one person, and it can be anyone you like, living or not, famous or not, and they will come. Who would you like to spend 2 hours with over a leisurely lunch?
I'll have to reveal it to you, my fan. You, you, Grant.
Hugh Grant. You might have to fight my wife over that because she
He's
is
always been my ever favorite English actor, my
your
ever favorite.
your guilty pleasure. Yes.
Yes.
That's
Not
great.
2 hours, but
Now,
longer.
in a slight twist to that question, who do you think Hugh Grant would invite?
Probably his wife, isn't it?
Yeah, I imagine
Probably.
so. Yeah.
Just saw them together, and even if he's aging, he's good looking. Let's say
Still good
and that-
looking man.
it's like
Yeah.
they're evergreen.
Yeah.
Okay, old.
Evergreen. Well, there
They're
you go,
evergreen.
Carmela. That's your fantasy cultural year. I hope you've enjoyed it.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
It's been a delight. Thank you very much for being one of our full members and for being a good sport and doing this so that we get to know you a little bit better. Did you enjoy that?
Yes, it was great. Thank you so much for having me.
It's my pleasure, and thank you very much again. See you soon, Carmela.
Bye. Bye, everyone.